Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. Now today we're going to look at August in our calendar. And this is the design I've come up with. I've done it on a piece of card first, so you can see how it would look if you want to do the design on a card. I'm actually taking my inspiration from the lovely image that Tracy's got printed on the base of the calendar. So once I finish, it gives that lovely cohesive design. So what I've also done is taken a smaller piece of card, and basically all I've done is sort of got rid of the middle space. I'd just like to show you, because I know a lot of you make smaller cards, and if you wanted to add a sentiment, there's plenty of room here to add less foliage and add a sentiment. I just love my little sticker, see the light. Now we're going to do some masking, but first of all I want to stamp my beautiful Dragonfly keeper before I add my low tack masking tape. If you're not sure whereabouts or how to, just use your acetate. So I'm thinking possibly there. So I'm going to use my black VersaFine Clair. So I'm thinking we're going to put her somewhere there. Now she's a silhouette, so she will need a little press. It's beautiful quality card, this, but I found it does take the ink time to just soak in. So I just want to make sure that we've got a beautiful image, which we have. What I'm going to do now is add my Lavinia low tack masking tape. Now I'm just doing this by eye and just taking it above where the days are, but I want her feet to be out of, so it almost looks like she's flying into the scene. I like to do this. It's something a bit different, because I know we've taped off squares in the past, and I think I want each page to look slightly different. So although I'm using different stamps, even just to put a slight different twist on the design. So there we've got our tape on, and part of her wings and her feet are out of the design, so that's good. So I'm going to stamp the beautiful Arch of Angels. Now the main thing is I want to get it straight, so that's my big thing. There we go. And then from our lamp set, we've got a gorgeous little lamp look, and it matches. So I thought that is just perfect. That's a given. So we need to stamp that. And I'm thinking just at the doorway here. Yeah, love that. That little set is so useful. It's got little mini mushrooms on as well. So I'm going to come in with Sahara. And I've got a Sahara brush here. And again, always blend in the lid. Now I am going to add other colours on top of this, but I just think it'll help me. It just almost takes that start whiteness off. And when I'm building that scene up, I think that looks better. So that was just the Sahara in the Elements. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use mustard seed. It's a lovely bright yellow. And this is in the Oxide. And the Elements, the Oxides, you're fine mixing them on projects, but I want some bright yellow in here. Now, I can use my pens, my pencils, but I've got to be honest, if I use my number 3 brush, it's just the speed. I can get this lovely bright yellow look quickly, but also I can almost fade it to leave that white in the middle. And then while I've got it, just going to add some yellow around that lamp and some yellow around this lamp. And again, it gives me that nice glowing effect. And I find if I just do this now, then straight away I've got that lovely brightness onto my design. So we'll add a little bit more stamping now. And for this, I've gone for Monarch. And when I was looking through my stamps, I wanted it to be a bit sort of you know, not florally, but almost a bit spooky sort of undergrowth foliage type. So I've gone for the thistle branch. And I'm just going to stamp it sort of growing up here. And I'm just going to alter the angle and maybe second generation there. Now, I just want to point something out, because one of the things to be aware of is there is this spine, this binding. So when I come to stamp, I've got to be aware that this is an extra ridge, and quite often you can mis-stamp. So what I'm going to suggest is the smaller stamps at the top that you use work better. So I'm just going to use the edge of this large stamp. You can put the stamp towards the end of your block, but the mini stamps are fabulous to actually fill in. So what we'll do is, if I show you, so I'm going to go back to my Nocturne, and I've got this lovely leaf 5. Now, those of you, when you've watched my videos in the past, I've used the gorgeous large maple leaf. Now, if ever you order that, if you haven't got it already, great for men's cards. This mini leaf 5 goes perfectly with it. So together, they just work wonderfully. But this look, because my block's here, it's not actually going on that spine. So I'm just, while we're talking, doing a combination of first and second generation. And this is almost going to frame my design. So if I have just a little bit going down there, and if we take just across this doorway, now we'll turn it round for you. So it looks as though those beautiful leaves is going to frame and give it that sort of mystical feel. So to balance it, we'll add some at the base, but as I say, it just helps with that stamping. Having a border helps, but also your smaller stamps you'll find. So if you're doing your first calendar page, that's a little tip. Maybe choose a design where you can use some of your lovely mini stamps. So let's just take this up here. We'll have first generation there, maybe just a little bit of second there. Yeah, happy with that. I want to just add a little bit more of this sort of pinkly purple colour. So I've got a couple of my new colours. And I'm going to use Lilac Bloom and Hawthorn Rose. So what I'm going to do first is with the orchard grass, I need a little bit of sort of wispiness. So this is the Lilac Bloom, and I'm just going to add at the base, look, some wispy, and you see how the colours tone so well, but it just gives me a little bit. And when you're creating a design like this, I want this stamping to look like it's in front, so we're building up that depth. And again, using your first and second generation helps. Just put one there. Now what I will do, I am going to add a little bit more stamping, but before I do, I'm just going to come in with my black fine liner and just almost ground that lamp there, look. And here, where almost the building ends, I'm just going to add some little dots, just so it looks like there's something or nothing. We're not making the whole building, we're just giving the idea that it actually carries on. And I don't want to overcook it with them. And for me, that just adds that little bit, it's going to drift away there. Now, my secret weapon today is this lovely little stamp, which is called the Mini Leaf Creeper. And I know it looks nothing, but Hawthorn Rose is the colour I'm going to use. And what you can do when I'm inking it up, look, I'm going to ink up and use the corner of the pad, because that way, can you see, I don't particularly want all the stem, I just want to try and ink up the actual little buds, because what I can do, look, is bring it in, and it just adds, so any space here where I want some little buds, a little bit of colour. So again, if we look here, maybe we've just got some just dangling at the end. And these are lovely because it's just a generic bud. See where we've got our little, we can just hang them, you can look for spaces to have them coming out of. Or if, you know, say you've got a black mark, and it happens to all of us, this is perfect for that. Because we're not adding butterflies on this one. I don't want to overcook it. I just want to keep that nice so it looks, yeah, happy with that. I need to stop with that now. Now I'm going to come in with my scorched timber. And again, we're back down to the number 3 brush. And I just want to add that quick bit of colour into here. And I'm just sort of going to ground, and it won't affect the stamping. You've stamped in a permanent ink, so that'll stay. And it just sort of ground under there. If you want to colour in with your pencils and add more depth, I just want this to just be in the distance. And what I can do is just drag a little bit out, just to accentuate the side of the building here. I'm going to add some violet chalk. So again, I'm going to come over the top, and I'm going to start in the corner. Now this I'm putting over the Sahara, so it actually makes an unusual colour. But I love that because it almost makes that sort of mystical colour tone. And we'll go round our fairy, round here, up the side. And sometimes it's just about blending those colours and making up those new. So like that. I don't want to overdo the purple. I just want it to look sort of purpley tones. But what I will bring in is the dark denim. And again, I'm down to that number 3 brush. And as you know, I just work from the lid. Look, the lid's my palette. And I just want to bring this in mainly on the corners and then down the side, just to frame it. So when we take off our masking tape, we've got a lovely frame. Because if you look now, although we've got a frame, the difference is when we add, let's do this corner so you can see. And if I just very quickly look, that's all I'm going to do. If you lift that up, you see how that just frames it even more. The contrast, that's the word I'm thinking of. The contrast is better. So in my mind, you get a much nicer frame. So I ink up on the corners, do my corners first, and then just whiz up the side. And then that corner and along the bottom. Just want to make this a little bit darker. If you've misstamped any, say because of the spine here, just blend that colour in and fill that gap. Again, nobody will ever know. These number 3 brushes are great for hiding things like that. If you wanted to bring in a little bit of depth here, you can, but I'm happy with that. I don't want to overcook that at all. What I do want to do is a little bit of colouring with, so I've got my Kuretake in my Zig pen, and this is 51 Lemon Yellow. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to the light, and then just a little bit where the light is going to show on our beautiful. Now, I do need to just lift this up. I know I could do it at the end, but I just want to do it now. I'm just going to add a little bit down there. There we go. Again, that's the beauty of low-tack tape. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit here, just to give almost like it's just catching. Just these edges of the arch, look, are catching from this lovely. And we've got a bit of a glow. And then before I take my tape off, I'm just going to get my lovely pastel pencils. So I'm going to get my white. Right, we'll just add a little bit down there. That's it. Not going to overdo with that. But I do want to add some lovely splatters. And I could have used my yellow, but I'm trying to be good with my stamps, use all my stamps, but also my Posca. So this is I think this is the violet, and it's the sparkly one. So I thought I would use my yellow sparkle, but let's just use a different colour, because again, this colour's really upset. It's not used very often. So I'm just going to go all the way around. Again, just pointing where I want it, in the middle here. And before you ask, I am going to add some colour to our fairy's wings, but I'm just going to do this first. Now, as you know, the low tack tape comes off beautifully, but a little tip, if ever you're not sure, bob your heat tool on it. There we go, look at that. Now, I want to colour her wings. So, just want to check you can see. I've got 3 of my Zig pens here. And the colours I've got are number 30, which is blue, number 37, which is cornflower blue, and then 36, which is light blue. And I'm just going to come in first with the darker one and just add that darker colour. And then with my next colour, I'm going to go over the darker and then up the vein, almost the middle of the wing where I want the darker colour. Then I'm going to come in with my lighter one. Sorry, excuse me. As you can tell, my voice is playing up a bit today. You know what I'm like. I have this sticky throat, so I do apologise. So, this way I can pick up that colour from the dark and just blend it into the light. If I want to blend it a bit more, I can pick a little up, look, from the dark nib onto my light nib, blend it into that, and it will blend back and go back to its normal colour. So pick a little bit up and I can almost darken that darker bit and then blend up into that light. And it's a lovely way of using these pens. And it doesn't harm the nib. Because they're water-based, it will blend back to its normal colour. So I just want a little bit more, which is why I hold them in my hand. I don't put them down on my desk when I'm working, just in case I need to add a bit more, do a bit more blending. Now, they blend beautifully on this cardstock, but if you really, really want to use them as watercolour and blend in, your watercolour cardstock is better. And I'm just going to do a little bit of wink of colour. So with my clear Wink of Stella, just going to come in, and this will blend it even more, but add that beautiful clear Wink of Stella. Can't resist a bit of wink of colouring, so it works with your watercolour pencils and your pens. Look at that. But again, just check. Oh, didn't pick any blue up. That was good. And then our last little thing, we want a little bit of our Stickles. And as you know, normally I paint it on, but today I just want it here, here, and here. Now, that did spit a bit. I told you it was rude. And I'm just going to do a bit of dab. So I'm just going to dot and dab. So dot it on and then just dab it with my finger round where I want it. I'm going to take that away. And our final thing is to add our lovely sentiment stickers. So I think for this one, I'm going to add love and light. So this is off our sentiment sticker set 6. Now, there's not a knot left on there, is there? And as you know, in the pack, you get a white set, a vintage set, and a set of black. So I'm thinking I want love and light there. And I just use my scissors to position it. But also, I've got twinkle left on there. And I think twinkle would look lovely up here. And it follows that line. I'm not sure there. No, I think it's got to be over here. And I think that's such a pretty page. And I think the white, once you see the white, so as I was doing it, I'm sure like me, you were thinking, I'm not sure how that's blending. That's a weird colour. But I love the way it looks. And that yellow really pops. And when you see the base, so that's the base, as I say, it's very difficult for me to get you to see the whole thing. But that's how it looks. So I'm hoping you've enjoyed that. And remember, if you want to make a piece for your journal, or if you just want to make a lovely little card, the design is suitable for all three. And again, just pick areas. So thanks for popping in as always. You take care. I'll see you again tomorrow. May have a sneaky something to show you tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, sleep well. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.